Hello guys and welcome to the channel React to Next, and in today's video we will create a to-do list application. Also we will learn the basic concept of React.js like functional component, state management, props management, event handling, list rendering, conditional rendering and JSX. So these are the basic concepts that we are going to cover in this video. So let's start creating a to-do list in React.js. For this, I will create a new folder here with name to-do, and inside this I will create the component for all the to-do list items. Okay, so let me create a file here to-dos.jsx, and then here I will just generate the basic React component. Inside this I will write few things. This is a to-do list component. Okay, let me import this component inside the app component to-dos, and now we will see this inside our application. Cd learn react pnpm run dev. It will open the app in the browser. Let me check it. Yeah, now you can see this is the text that we have written inside the to-dos component. Now we will create the separate component for the header, footer, form and list. So we have four things here: header, footer and form and list. So these things we have to create. Let me create a component to do header.jsx, and inside this I will just copy the basic code, and here to do's header, and export this. Okay, then I will create the other files as well. So we have the footer, we have the form, and the final one is the list. Okay, let me add the names as well. Footer, here form, and this one is the list. Now I will import all this component inside the to-dos here. The first one is to-dos header, then to-dos footer, then to-dos form, to-dos list. So these are the component I am going to implement in this. Let's see the error. This is default export to-dos. Okay, so what's wrong here? We have to close itself. Okay, now when we open the browser we will see this is the header, this is the form, this is the list, and this is the footer. So all the components are here. Let me take it to the right side and the editor in the left side. Now we can see the change. Let me remove these comments now, and first we will create the header. Inside the header I will create only a simple text, like simple header with a simple text in the center. Okay, so I will say this is the header. In that case, to do application. Okay, and you can add some classes, text center, you can make the font bold, you can add some paddings from the top and bottom, like uh, like 4, that means 16 pixel, and we can add a border from the bottom. I will keep this simple, border bottom. Okay, now we have to do the same thing with the footer. Let me add this thing in the here in the footer. So this is the footer, and here we'll just add copy 2024. Okay, we will remove this bold text here, and the text will be small. Also make the color text gray around 500. Okay, so this is something looks like this, the application, that to do application, and this is the footer. Here I will add the border from the top. Okay, now I have the header and the footer. I will add a form and a list. Okay, so first I will add a list here. Here I will add ul, and then I will add a li. Okay, so this is the task. Okay, let me add few more things here. Class padding y 2, or we can just say 3, border top. Okay, it looks like this, and from the border from the x4. Okay, and then repeat the thing. So the list will look like this. Now we can also add a heading here with this, like task list. Okay, and we can make the font class margin bottom 4, text bold. Oh sorry, font bold. Okay, and this is the basic thing here, like we have the heading and we have the all the tasks here inside this. I can also add more padding from the x4 in the main div. Now we will have this one and this one. From the list, if you want, you can remove the padding now. So for this, let me remove the paddings from all these inputs. Oh sorry, this was wrong. Here it was the padding from the x. Okay, so now we think, look, it looks like this. Okay, better to have 2 pixel padding. Okay, and from this I can also do 2 pixel. I think 2 pixel is fine from all the sides. So this is the list, and we have the footer, we have the header. Now we have to add only the form. For the form, I will add the form tag here, then I will add input, and the type is equal to text, value initially empty, and the placeholder, enter your task, or what do you want to do, and something like this we can add inside the placeholder. Okay, so now we have this input, we can add some classes. I have covered that thing, like how we can design the input in many of the video, other several videos, or you will see in my channel, that you will see on my channel. I have, okay, I will skip this. So now we have to do like padding to border width full, and you can increase the padding now for. Okay, there is some problem with this, cause here what happening, it is not taking the. Okay, this is the reason. Let me make it 3 only, and I have to add some border margin from the bottom. Now it looks like this. This is the input field, and this is the basic form. Let me add some padding in the div, padding x 4. Okay, so this is how it looks like, margin top 4. So now we have this one. Okay, margin bottom also 4, and add some border from the bottom. Okay, so this is the same, like from the top I have the border, from the bottom I have some margin. Okay, and we can also do one thing, remove this one. Now it is the same from the padding margin from the top. Let me remove this. What happens? Okay, this makes something like this. So from the top and bottom I will just add the padding 4, so it will be same and the both side. Okay, and now we can also add background gray, a little bit gray color here, and also we can remove outline none. Now we won't have any outline here inside this on focus. Okay, or hover. What happened? Focus, outline none. Okay, this is the wrong place here inside the input. So now if I click on it, I won't see any kind of border over the input field. Now what we can do else in this, like we have to make something that will change the input values, because currently we are not able to change anything because the input field is, yeah, here like the value is empty. And now if you remove the value you can write, because now it becomes uncontrolled component or uncontrolled input field. If you add the value, then it has some states or some value inside that, so that's why it's controlled by an empty value. For this what we will do, we will create a state, and outside of this, like we can add the state inside the to do application, the main component, and then we will pass all the state inside the form. Okay, so for this let me create a state task and set task. Here what we will do, we will use the use state, that is the state hook, and inside this I will pass a empty task. Okay, initial task, like what should be like constant, the task is empty, or we can say the title is empty, description is empty, and the id is we can say initially the id is 1, and then we will calculate the id, like we will manage the numbering as the id for this. So this is something what we have a object called initial task, and that we have stored here, and this is a basic object. Okay, now I'm passing this to this one, or you can just say you can just pass a null inside this or an empty object, that will also work. But I want to make this thing to clear, that's why I'm explaining everything like how this actually works. So initially we have all the fields empty in the object, and then we will say set these values. Once these are things are done, we will store that somewhere inside the local storage, or we will pass that to the API. So here we are currently managing the states only, and later we will connect it with the local storage, and we will also see how we can pass this information to the API. So let's try this states first, and from the form, if I type something, I should send this to the state back. Okay, so here I should have another list const to do list and set to do list equals to use state hook, and initially the list is empty. So the list I will pass to this the list, and the task I will pass to it, and on change I will pass a method here that will set this. So for this, const handle on task change. Okay, now here we will have a event from the on change, and we will get the value from that. We are destructuring the event here e dot target. Inside this we have the value, and then we will pass this value to the task. So what we will do set task, and then everything going to be the same task, and then the value, that means the title, and pass the value to it. Because this is only the one input field, we can also remove the description for now. Later we will add a description also. Now we will have this to-do list that we also have to set here. Okay, so first thing is like on change we have to change the task value. Let's see, we should set this to form, and inside the form we have to get these things as the props. So we will have the task, that is the value for the input, and then okay, the initial what we are doing here is we are using the object. Okay, okay, so this is the task dot title. Now on change we have to do something on change here, like this is the on change event, and here on change we will pass the things to the on change props. Let's try to change something. Yeah, now we can change it. How we will know that we are saving something inside the task or not? For that you can do one thing, like you can console the things, and you can say test or debug, and then comma separate and the value, and inspect it. Go to the console, type the console value, and you will see there is an object, and the text is updating inside the title. What next we need? We need a button here as well for submitting it. So the button and save. Okay, and then class px or p2 pg blue 500 text white text sm, and we can also add some margin from the bottom. Now we have this task here. This is a task. If I put something here, okay, let's try something else. New task. Okay, so this is going somewhere. Let's check why. Okay, for this we have to check in this, like we have the title and this thing, right? So when I update the form, it is passing this thing to the main function here and here. Then we are updating the task, and that should display here. If I type something, it is updating. That means this is working fine. Now for the ID, we can use one more thing here, like we can use UUID package, okay, from the npm. So how we can use this? We can just install this by this command. So from the VS Code terminal, we can run this command, and because I am using the pnpm, so I will use pnpm install UUID. Then I will import this as on the top like this ES6 way, and then I will use it here. Now let's see some more examples. Okay, so this is how the function is going to work. I will put this thing here on side. This, okay, this is svv4. Now see what happens. Okay, so inside the code, okay, what happening? Okay, there is something, yeah, the comma, semicolon, sorry. And then if I type something, refresh this. If I type something, you will see there is a ID for it. So now it will get a unique ID for the task, and we can show the list of tasks here as well. So once a task is submitted, like when we click on the submit form, so we have to handle on submit. Here we will say handle on submit. I will create a function then, const handle on submit arrow function, and here we will have a event. If we pass the event, then we can get the event value here. Okay, so for this e, and inside the form on submit, we will use on submit because we are passing the same thing as the props. So in that case, we have this on submit and this, and we are using it here. And then you can also, yeah, you can use the same, and then you can get this e value here. If you know, in the previous videos what I have did, like we can use the e dot prevent default here for disabling the default behavior of the input fields. So let me show you. If we submit something, it was sending this thing in the URL. So let me remove it and save this task, and then I click on it. It is submitting, refreshing the page. So that's why we are using e dot prevent default. Now we can do one thing. We can set the task to the initial, the empty task, the initial value when the form is submitted successfully. Also, we had to add this inside the list. So for that, we will keep the last updated value from the state, and then we will put our new object inside this, that is the task. Okay, that is the task state. Okay, let's do the thing. And once this is done, we will use this inside the listing, and here I will write code to map all these things. If we have the list and then list dot map, and inside this the list item, and here we can return the li. There is also a shortcut way, but I am using this one when we have many things in the JSX. So this one what I have to use from props. Now this is the list, basic list, and item dot title. This should be here, title. Okay, so let me add something. Task 1, task 2, and task 3. So the list is not populating here. but we can see there was something in the this state. So we will do the same with the to-do list. Let me close the other files, header and footer. Now here we will see what is inside the to-do list. Okay, my mistake. Here we have something, the list, with the name of list. Okay, now we will see this again. Okay, now we have what? Task 1, task 2 and task 3. Let me add task. Okay, task 3 and task 4. Right now we don't have any kind of validation like the duplicate task or something. So this is like how we can add a task. Let me clear it again, like how it is working. What happening here, we created 4 components. One is for the header, second is for the form, third is for the listing, and fourth is for the footer. So header, footer are the simple thing. We can comment it out if you want. And this is something that we call to-do list. So we can just, for showing, we can show the header and the footer. So what we have the basic form that will submit the task, and it will store inside the state of the parent component. So here we will see all the 4 components are the part of this to dos, and here we are managing 2 states. One is for the task that will check the real-time value of this input field, and the second one is the list of the task. So it will store all the task here. So now when we change something from the input, is it what it do, it change the value of this state, the task state. Inside this, it change the title and then save it inside this state. Now next time, what happens when we submit, we clicks on the submit button. When we click on submit button, initially it is just preventing the default submit, and then it is clearing the value of the clearing, or we can say resetting the value of task state, and then we are passing that task, the task from this state. And okay, for if this makes you confusion, then what we can do here, we can do this before. Like first we take this task here, and then we will add this inside this to do list. Initially we have the empty array, so it will just copy the empty array and then it will push inside the to do list with this way thing. This is we call the structuring way, the destructuring way. Like we just get all the values from the array, and then we add our new value inside this. Like if you have a 5 task here, it will copy the 5 task here, and then it will push the new task inside this array. This is how this destructuring works. We can also perform this another way, like we can just use react array dot push. Like we can just inside the array we can push the values, so that will also works. So this is the basic thing, like how we have added the task in the list. Okay, now refresh the page, because this is the state, it will clear the values. You can do one more thing. Let's try one more time. Test 1, test 2 and test 3. So you will see the first task in the top, second one is the this, and last one is this. So you can just do one thing, you can reverse the array and then show the recent one on the top. So that what we will do in the next video. Also we will learn how we can add it and delete the task. I hope you like this video, and keep watching my channel for this kind of videos. Thank you very much.